Hi you guys, and welcome to my channel. My name is Patience. To my existing subscribers, welcome back. If this is your first time here, be sure to click that subscribe button and that notification bell so you can continue to indulge in the Hot Bella experience. In today's video, I am going to be revisiting one of the palettes that I have in my collection, and that is the Anastasia Beverly Hills and Jackie Aina collaboration palette. You guys remember this palette. It has not gone anywhere. It is still very much around. It is very much relevant, and it is a beautiful palette. I love the shades in this palette, and I have created a look using this palette once before, but I was committed to come back and do another look and use more shades out of this palette. I was intrigued by so many of these shades in this palette, so I used this palette to create this look today. And I think this look turned out beautifully. I'm also airbrushing my complexion today. I'm using the MAC Face and Body Foundation. And I am still working my way around or trying to get better acquainted with the Cheeks Out Freestyle blush from Fenty Beauty. So I'm going to be trying out another shade of blush in this video as well. So yeah, if you guys would like to see how I created this gorgeous look, then keep watching. My face has been cleansed, and I used my Fresh Rose Deep Hydration Toner to tone my face. I also used my Fresh Kombucha Black Tea Essence, and I followed up with the primer from Glow Recipe. That's the Pink Watermelon Primer. And then I primed with my Fenty Beauty Soft Matte Primer. So I did a few things to prep my skin today, and that's something that I've been doing here lately. I added an additional step into my skin prep for my makeup, and that is the addition of an essence, a facial essence, and I've been liking how that's been turning out for me. So I'm going to move on to the first shade out of the Jackie Aina palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills, and I'm going to use this shade right here. This shade is called Soleil, and I'm going to use this as my brow bone highlight. The next shade I'm going to use is this shade right here. This shade is called Ginger, and I'm going to use this as my transition shade. And now I'm going to use this shade right here. This shade is called Edges, and I'm going to put this in the crease area. I'm going back to the shade Ginger once again, which was my transition shade, and I'm going to use that just to make sure that I don't have any harsh lines at this point. And now I'm going to take the shade Credit, that is this shade right here, and I'm going to place this on the outer V and sweep it into the crease area as well. I used my Makeup Revolution Cut Crease Canvas base to carve out a little portion here on my eyelid. And I'm going to go back into my Jackie Aina palette here, and I'm going to use this shade right here. This shade is called Credit. This is the shade that I'm using here on the outer V, and I'm going to soften up these edges where I have applied that cut crease base just a little bit before I add my shimmer shade. I just want to soften this up just a little bit. I'm now going to use this shade right here. This shade is called Wiggleese, and I'm going to use this on top of the areas that I still have open here where I used my Revolution cut crease base. So yeah, just going to add this shimmer shade in that area. Starting off using this dry. That's pretty, but I want to see what this looks like wet. So I'm going to use my MAC Fix Plus, and I'm going to spritz my brush here. And let's see what we get. I think that did make that stand out just a little bit more. Not bad. And I'm going to do a little bit more blending just to blend these two shades together that I have on my lids right now. This shade is Credit and this shade is Wiggleese. So I'm just going to go back in with Credit just a little bit more just to blend these two together just a little bit more. And at the same time, I don't want to lose the Credit shade, the darker shade that I have on my lid. I need for both of those to be present. Going back into the palette once again, you guys, and I'm going to use this shade right here. And this shade is called Salmon. And I'm going to put this in the inner corner and take it right around the arch here of where I have applied that Wiggleese, which is this shade right here. So yeah, I'm going to add just a little bit more shimmer, a little bit more something something into this area. And this shimmer shade is so pretty. I'm going to try using this one dry first, and if I need to wet my brush, I'll do that, but I'm using my MAC 242. You guys know how I feel about this MAC 242. I'm using my Sigma E36 brush. You guys know what I do with this brush. I use this brush to add some definition into where I've had to manipulate my natural crease line. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to go into the shade Credit. That's the deep dark chocolate shade, and I'm going to use this brush and I'm going to add a little bit more definition into where I've had to manipulate my natural crease line. My eyeshadow has been applied and I'm going to add some liner and lashes. My liner and my lashes are done, and I'm going to be airbrushing my complexion today. So I'm going about things in reverse. You guys know how I do this. Anytime that I am using my airbrush, I apply some things in reverse. So normally with a traditional foundation, I would apply the foundation and then put my concealer, contour, bronzer, and everything on top. But when I'm airbrushing, I do it a little bit differently. So I'm going to start off using my concealers first. I'm using the Estee Lauder Double Wear Stay in Place Flawless Wear Concealer. I've got two of these concealers here. One is in medium warm and the other is in deep neutral. So I'm going to be using both of these. And for my cream contour, I'm going to use this Tarte Clay Foundation Stick. This is in the shade Rich Honey. This is a staple item for me. So this is a very nice cream contour. This shade works perfectly on my complexion. So I'm going to highlight and conceal all the areas that you would normally want to highlight and conceal. And as usual, I follow up with a sponge to make sure that I don't have any excess product sitting on top of my skin. And I think I want to brighten this up just a little bit more. I'm going to go back into the medium warm concealer again. This is the lighter shade, and I just want to lighten it up just a little bit. And I'm going to set all the areas where I have applied this concealer using my Hourglass Translucent Veil Setting Powder. Sometimes I feel like such a weirdo. Do you guys switch hands as you move from right to left when you're doing your makeup? I have to switch hands sometimes, but I am slightly ambidextrous, I guess you would say, but it is now time for my complexion, and I'm going to be using my Temptu Air to apply my MAC Base and Body Foundation. My complexion is done, and I'm going to set this foundation using my RCMA No Color Powder. So I'm just going to do a light set all over my face. And even though I used my concealer and my bronzer first before I applied the foundation, you can still see where that contour is coming through underneath the foundation, so it works out really nicely. There's always more than one way to skin a cat, so when it comes to makeup, you know, we can do whatever we want, do whatever works best for you. I'm going to go ahead and smoke out my waterline. I'm going to go back to this shade right here. This shade is called Credit, and this is the darker shade that I have on my outer V, and I'm going to use this to add a little bit of something to this waterline, just to smoke it out just a little bit. I think I'm going to add a little bit of edges also to this waterline. That's this shade right here. Just add a little bit of that. Why not? Let's see what happens. It's now time for blush, and I'm going to be using one of the Cheeks Out Freestyle blushes from Fenty Beauty. This is in the shade Rose Latte. And I am going to apply this with a sponge. I've been trying to get used to the Cheeks Out Freestyle blushes from Fenty Beauty. These are a little different for me because they do have a bit of a shine or sheen to them, so it has taken me a little while to get used to that. I'm still trying to get used to that, but they're really pretty. I like the colors of the blushes and also the bronzers as well, but it's just getting used to that sheen or that shine that comes with this product. But this color is really, really pretty. And now I'm going to apply some highlighter, and I'm going to use this iconic London Illuminator. This came in one of my BoxyCharm boxes. It comes with a little dropper like this. So I'm just going to take a little bit of this on my hand, on the back of my hand, and I'm going to use this highlighting brush, and I'm going to apply this to my cheeks. So I'm just going to take this like this on this brush, and I'm just going to dab a little bit on here. Just kind of blend that in there. And I'm going to use my sponge just to kind of make sure that everything is the way I need it to be. So smooth it out if I need to. That's really, really pretty. That is really, really pretty. It is now time for lips. I have already lightly lined my lips with my MAC lip pencil in the shade Night Moth. And I am going to use one of the lip glosses from Colored Raine. And this shade is called Firecracker. This is a pretty shade. It's like this iridescent, goldy, shimmery shade. It's got all different colors reflecting through this. And this look is done. The Jackie Aina palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills is still one of my favorite ABH palettes. I love all the shades in this palette. I also love all the names of the shades in this palette. This is a gorgeous palette, so I had to come back and do another look using the shades in this palette. There are still some shades I have not yet touched, so I do plan on coming back to do even another look using this palette. This palette is not a one-hit wonder by no means. This is a very functional palette, and you would find yourself reaching for it on numerous occasions to create a beautiful and stunning look as I did today. I hope you guys liked this video, and if you did, remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys on my next video. Bye-bye.